Hello everyone, drum tech drummer and YouTube educator Kenny Sharretts coming to you with a product review and demonstration of the brand new LV mesh heads from RTOM. Now RTOM has taken this iconic black hole mesh head practice pad design and applied it to a brand new set of low volume mesh heads that are playable and durable, allowing you to create awesome low volume practice pad kits or even better, triggerable mesh head kits. Now, if you watch my YouTube channel, you probably know that I love using black holes to transform my beautiful Rogers Covington kit into a great low-volume practice pad kit. And you probably also know that I like to augment those black holes with triggers via the Yamaha EAD10, allowing me to get a great sounding kit for the online drum lessons that I teach. That way, when I'm teaching a lesson, my neighbors and my wife, who works at home, get to hear this. Well, my students and I, we get to hear this. So it's in that spirit today that we'll be checking out the brand new LV mesh heads from RTOM. Come on, y'all. Okay, y'all, so the first thing you'll probably notice about these RTOM mesh heads is the distinctive patch at the center, kind of the reinforcement dot at the center of the head. Now, not only does this make the head a lot more durable, but it also adds a certain kind of heft to the drum head. So for the heavy-handed player or the player who likes a stout feeling to their toms and their snare drums, this is probably going to be the perfect mesh head for you, because this patch also, I believe personally, enhances the sensitivity and playability of these drum heads across a broad range of tensions. Check it out, y'all. Now, because I have the snare drum tuned pretty tightly, in order to enhance triggering, which we'll get into later, you can notice that these mesh heads have a higher tone, a lot like the black hole heads do. In fact, the only real difference between the sound of these mesh heads and these black holes is the batter head resonating underneath the black hole where it doesn't with the mesh head. Check it out, y'all. And so you can kind of hear that this has that richer, warmer tone, which is a soft, pillowy tone with that drum head going this. Just a quiet mesh head, y'all, man, so it works really well as a practice kit. Now, as far as the bass drum goes, I gotta be honest, y'all, while I absolutely love my black hole practice pad for my bass drum, having a mesh head on the kick is 100% awesome, y'all, because you 100% feel like you're playing a kick drum, especially when you trigger it like I'm about to do now. And speaking of triggers, y'all, that brings me to my next point, which is these LV mesh heads work great with triggers, y'all. The reinforcement dot kind of controls the response to the drum head, making the trigger respond to it kind of like it would a normal drum head, which allows for some pretty crisp roll work. When it comes to mesh head triggering, however, I think the head of most important for most drummers is the bass drum head, especially drummers who do double bass or heel to toe technique, because the responsiveness of the head to the trigger is so fundamental to the technique. And while I'm not a great heel toe player, I do play a lot of double bass. And I gotta say, at medium to tight tensions, this bass drum head has been phenomenal and responds great with my TT20 trigger. And in the end, I think the sensitivity issue will really just be a matter of you balancing the head tension with the trigger's response to match your own bass drum technique. Now, the final thing I did want to talk about with these mesh heads is that if you're a drummer who kind of wanted to take it out as a live kit, where you have a bass drum and toms triggered, especially if you want to use like a real snare and real cymbals with it, y'all, these mesh heads are awesome. Especially when it comes to durability, because with the reinforcement dot in the middle, you're a lot less worried about ripping through a mesh head in the middle of the show, y'all. You could just play. And so I gotta say, with all these factors put together, as a drummer and a tech, I'm absolutely loving these LV mesh heads from RTOM, y'all, especially for the heavy-handed player who wants to make a great low-volume mesh head practice kit, triggered or untriggered, but doesn't want to constantly be tearing through mesh heads. Yo, these are the heads for y'all, especially when it comes to triggering, because I'm really digging this reinforcement dot in terms of the response it gives me, y'all. So check them out, RTOM's LV mesh heads.